The name Hardcore Porn, was that the network or was that Les's idea?
Crazy story on that, man. So are you familiar with what a sizzle reel is?
No.
Okay. So a sizzle reel is what a production company would use to shop around a TV show idea to networks.
Right, okay.
It's usually 8 minutes. So you have 8 minutes to get the premise of your TV show out. So networks will take a look at it. You can find these on YouTube. You have to do a little bit of digging, but you would simply search Hardcore Pawn Sizzle Reel. Okay. Or you would Google Pawn Stars Sizzle Reel, because these two are very much intertwined. So if you find the original Hardcore Pawn Sizzle Reel, it's Les, it's Seth, it's the pawn shop in Detroit. And at the end of the 8-minute show, a neon sign lights up and it flickers and it says Pawn Stars.
Right.
Did you hear what I said? They were in Detroit, but the show was called Pawn Stars.
Right.
History Channel said, we love the name. We don't like your show. They took the name, started the one in Las Vegas. Hardcore Pawn was a secondary name. You can find this sizzle reel on YouTube with Les Gold and his show named Pawn Stars. I don't know what happened, how it got fumbled, how they took the name, but not the show. I don't know any of that. But that, if everything would have went differently, the pawn shop in Detroit would have been called Pawn Stars.
How scripted was that show?
The burning question, right? And I swear to God, for as many TV shows as there are on television, I feel like Hardcore Pawn gets the brunt of that show's fake.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? And that's a question that I've been asked for my entire time since I've been there and then after. There was no scripts. Okay. So when I came into work on a film day, I would come in and start putting the jewelry in the case like we have to do every morning, right? We got to load everything up. We're getting ready for our day, man. The audio guys would come over to me. They would put my mic pack on me and say, we'll see you when we see you. And I just go to work, right? Now, the items that came in, people were always like, well, I can't believe stuff like that would walk in. Well, first of all, you need to believe that stuff like that could just walk in off the street because it's Detroit. There's a lot of shit that happens. You know what I mean? When it came to the items that were kind of weirder, I kind of have a sense of what they did was they would look around on the local Craigslist for people selling items. Okay. And the show would reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to try to sell your item on the show? Okay. With no guarantee that we would buy it or not. So yeah, maybe there was some outside sources getting those customers to the store, but the negotiation, the deal, the money was all real. All the interactions between customers, if they were fighting or getting thrown out, real. That stuff happened whether there was cameras there or not. You know what I mean? But as far as scripts, we were never directed on what to do, nothing like that is when it came to these deals. I did say, of course, storylines are created in shows. If anybody watches any TV out there and thinks what they're watching is real, boy, do I got some stuff to sell you. Okay, let's talk. You know what I mean?
It seemed like there was two things going on at the time. So you had your day-to-day running of the store and your items coming in, but then you had the storyline with the gold throughout the episode. So it could be like Seth tries to sell the store. So it starts off with, so do you reckon there was like production meetings in the morning with the gold saying this is sort of the feel of where we want to go, and then we film the day-to-day running? Or do you reckon the Golds themselves sat down and sort of created some storylines?
Yeah, and I guess I'm going to be honest with you. I was not privy to any of that, right?
Yeah.
Like I was not listen, I can remember obviously opening up in the morning, and I do not remember ever seeing them huddled together being like, wait, this is what we're doing today. Now they may between the production team went over what items were coming in for scheduling, things like that.
Yeah.
People seem to think that I had more to do there with the show side when I didn't. I was just an employee that was able to participate in the stuff that I did. So I never got paid extra for being on the show.
And that's what I was going to ask. On filming days, was you a cast member or was you an employee?
I was an employee. I was always an employee, right? That was my first and foremost. If they came to me and wanted to use me for maybe an item that they thought I could, I would be good with, that was always approved by the Golds, right? Yeah, you could take Bobby, you can use him. If I was selling with somebody, with a customer, I would have to finish my transaction, right? Then go back. So for me, I was getting constantly pulled from one job to, yeah, we want you to run this deal or something like that. But again, like I said, I wasn't involved in anything more than just what was presented to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in reality, it was as authentic as it could be to have a camera
Yeah.
crew in your shop and people coming to you. So
Yeah, and I guess I think anybody with common sense can sit and realize that, okay, yeah, maybe they do need to, create some storylines and stuff for the show, but a lot of those deals and interactions and people you saw getting thrown out, I mean, that stuff happened whether there was a camera there or not. You know what I mean? It didn't matter. So
I don't get any feeling off of people that they were entitled for you to give them money because you was a TV star and the shop was on TV. So that item you need to sell them. They're like, well, hang on, like you're
there
on
was,
TV, so you've got money to give me.
of course, so there was always a sense of entitlement, right, with our customers, because you got to understand when it comes to pawning something, there's a lot of emotion there because it's their
Exactly.
personal item, right? So
You might see it as a win, but that's a grandmother could have gave someone that win.
right.
But in a business sense, it's just a win that you need to sell on.
Right. Listen, I'm sure your grandmother was sweet, but I don't give a shit that she gave it to you. I can't pay for that. You know what I mean? So what's the gold weight? What are the cut clarity, color of the stones? That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with scrap gold prices. You know what I mean? So of course there was always like the stories that you would hear and people trying to get one over on you and all of the things, man. And you had to take it with a grain of salt a lot of times, well, yeah, we are on TV. That still doesn't mean that this gold's worth anything more than what the gold weight is. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with anything. So
It's a dynamic between the goals. Is that real? Is that for TV? Because like Les seems very family orientated, but then obviously Seth and Ashley are very at each other's throats. Was that
yeah,
on a day-to-day basis as well when the cameras were away?
it's their dynamic, tight as could be as a family, right?
Yeah.
They
comes
were.
across.
Yes, and I think it comes across pretty well. Now with that tightness and with family, with business, with a stressful job, with trying to, you know what I mean? There's a lot. When I watch scenes back, I know when they were really like I could feel it. You know what I mean? I can feel when a scene or when Ashley was maybe really upset or really hurt because like you said, that dynamic of reality and real TV, there's real emotion. We're real human beings. You know what I mean? So yeah, trying to balance real work with TV, it was I don't know how they did it because it does get in the way of things, you know what I mean, for sure. Luckily I was just an employee, but I did get caught in between some of that family drama for sure. But at the end of the day, they're a family like anybody else's family. They're not perfect, but they're perfect for each other.
Throughout the seasons and stuff, and the more people were using that, did it cause any friction between the staff? Like, was there any jealousy of that person's getting TV time or this person's becoming a bit more famous than someone else?
I guess I can speak wholeheartedly on this because I felt like, yeah, there was some animosity towards me from some of my coworkers for sure. I'm not going to name anybody by name, you know what I mean? Because these people at one time were very important to me. But as things started to pick up and I started to get pulled away more from my regular duties, of course, I could feel it. You know what I mean? I didn't realize at the time, but I'm an energy person. I'm a vibe person.
Yeah.
I hadn't started my journey back then, and I was kind of caught up in the whole thing of where I was in my time frame at that point. But I could definitely look back and feel that these people felt some type of way towards me. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I guess I didn't really care because it was the Golds that were saying, Bobby, come and do this. It was, you know what I mean? I'm trying to navigate a job, whatever this thing is with the show, and I guess I felt it, but I didn't really care that anybody was feeling some type of way. You know what I mean? I was doing my own thing. So.
And did you feel at the time that it changed you as a person? Because you was a young guy sleeping on someone's floor, and then all of a sudden you're in this shop, and then you're being thrown out onto TV. Did you sort of get an ego?
Yes. So it was never I've never looked at myself, even when that show was at its height, right? And we were on top. We were pulling 1 million viewers on True TV. I have never looked at myself as a celebrity or as a famous person, right? I've always looked at myself as a dude that had a cool job that got lucky. Okay. Back then, though, when I see clips of myself, and I see and I hear how I talk, I completely see my ego. I feel it, and there's sometimes it's uncomfortable for me to see myself, in that position, because of where I am now. I mean, I was in my early 30s on that show. I'm 42 now, and I've been through a lot since that show. And I've dropped that ego. I've done a lot of work on my spirituality and where I'm at now. So very thankful, but definitely not the same guy that I was in those clips. You know what I mean?
Do you think there's a place in sort of now society that show like that could happen? Because back then when it was airing, it was sort of the Jerry Springer age. So outrageous TV was allowed.
Yes.
But it seems like the world's changed its direction now. So like us growing up, we were brought up on Jerry Springer. So seeing stuff like that,
Yeah.
nowadays, if stuff like that was to happen, that'd probably be taken off the TV.
You make a very great point, man. And people have asked me, do I think it would come back? I'm with you. I don't think our society would be able to deal with it. I really don't. There's been a couple comment sections that I've went through, just skimming through for some clips, and just the feel of how people are taking or responding to the clip lets me know that they're not ready for Hardcore Pawn 2.0. You know what I mean? Because people don't realize that things happen between people, you know what I mean? And this is real life, man. And we can't, when you're in a business like that, you can't cater to people's feelings. It's you come at us sideways, we're coming right back at you sideways. You know what I mean? There's things that are said. It's just, I think we're too sensitive of a society for shows like that to be around right now. I really do, my gratitude and my gratefulness for every single thing, whether it was good or bad at that store that I got to experience. I mean it. It comes from a place of love for me, because it changed who I am. You know what I mean? It's cool to look back and see it now. I'm thankful for it, but it doesn't define who I am now either.